First and foremost, hook 'em. I have some good and I have some bad news. The good news is Texas is very talented. Texas is talented in almost every single solitary position. Even with people going to the NFL draft, Texas has recruited well. They have great talent. I have no issues with this coaching staff when it comes to getting talent, recruiting talent, developing talent. They have done amazing at that. The problem now is the coaching has to get better. We have to see better coaching decisions. And by coaches' decisions, I mean Coach Sark. Coach Sark is officially on the clock. Steve Sarkeesian has a lot of explaining to do, because if all gas, no brakes is a thing, and if you're supposed to be the guy that's going to lead this offense and do certain things in this offense, your offense cannot score 14 points in a semifinal game. Your offense can't be as it is right now. Your offense has to be better. Your offense has to be better in the red zone. Your offense has to be more consistent. Some people will say, yeah, well, now they have Arch. Now they have Arch and everything's going to be magically better. One thing that has to be magically better is Coach Sark's play calling, because the play calling that I've seen for the past really 3 years have been very concerning. And in my opinion, you can blame whoever you want to blame for the loss in the semifinals against Ohio State. This has nothing to do with Ohio State, but this has everything to do with some bad coaching decisions that happen with Coach Sark. And I have some concerns. So on the other side of this video, I'm going to talk about my concerns and why, in my opinion, Coach Sark is on the clock. And I know a lot of people will say Arch Manning is going to come and save him, but Arch Manning cannot save Steve Sarkeesian from bad play calling. It just can't happen. So let me get to the other side of this video. Red zone offense in 2023 was 120th. Red zone offense in 2023 was 88. So yes, were we better than last year? Absolutely, we were better than last year. Is 88 ranked off red zone offense good? Absolutely not. It is horrendous. So Coach Sark has to figure out his red zone offense. He has to. He is supposed to be an offensive guru. You cannot be an offensive guru and not be able to score points in the red zone. So Coach Sark is on the clock for figuring out this red zone offense. Unfortunately, he's always kind of had an issue with red zone offense. But with this talent and with the things that you're doing, he has to figure it out. His play calling always gets tight in the red zone. I don't know why. I don't know why when he gets inside of the 20s, his play calling changes. I don't get how in the semifinals of a football game, you bring in your big package and your big package comes into the right and you pitch the ball to the left side of the offense. I don't understand that. So Coach Sark has to figure out his red zone offense. He has to. There's no other way to put it. The other thing that has to happen is this offensive line has to be able to compete against superior talent. There's absolutely no reason why the University of Texas cannot run the football effectively at all times. Now, I get it. Some teams, it's going to be a challenge. Some teams, the other team is going to be just as good as you, and you're going to have to figure out some things. However, I need this offensive line to step it up this year. Last year, Texas' offensive line was ranked very high. Cool. I don't give a damn about that. When it came down to mattering and when it came down to the big games, Texas's offensive line, in my opinion, underperformed. And they underperformed inside of the tackles. The two guards in the center, in my opinion, underperformed. We can't have that. This offensive line has to figure out their crap. It is not good enough to just be like, oh, well, we can't run the ball against good teams. Well, against good teams, we can't run the ball. You want to know why it's not good enough? Because our offense can't carry the load. We've seen that. Our play caller, Coach Sark, is showing us that when we can't run the ball, he can't call an offense. So we have to figure out why this offensive line does not play well against superior talent. Are we not good enough? Great. Fix it. Are we not physical enough? Great. Fix it. We have to fix it. It is unacceptable for the Texas Longhorn offense to look like it did at the end of the season. That is unacceptable. Coach Sark has to fix that. He has to fix his offensive play calling, and he has to fix his offensive line. With that, we also have to fix our running back position. It is no longer acceptable just to be like, well, someone got hurt. Well, somebody got hurt. Well, fix it. I don't know what else to say. I feel like we live in a world where people want to be like, well, yeah, but that is not a good enough answer. We have to figure this out. We have to figure out how to have a solid and consistent running game, an offensive line that does what they're supposed to do in all games, not just when they're going up against better talent, because that's expected. That's the expectation. I expect you to be able to compete even against talent that is as good as you. So Sark and this coaching staff has to figure it out. We do not lack at talent. We do not lack for talent. And if you don't lack for talent and you're in games, the only thing that shows me is that the way the coaches are calling these games, something has to give. This offensive line has to be better, specifically the interior of this offensive line. The running back group has to get better as well. The other thing should come as no surprise to anybody. We have to get a kicker. We have to get a kicker that can kick the ball inside of the uprights. We have to. There's no ands, ifs, or about it. Everybody knows it. We have to get a kicker. There's no reason to not get a kicker. I don't care if we bring in 8 kickers. I don't care what happens. All I know is when the season starts and we head up to Ohio State, we have to have a kicker that can kick and make field goals. Full stop. Has to happen. We have to do that. The other thing that has to stop is the third quarter crap. Whatever's happening in the third quarter, that has to go away. Now, in the semifinals, we finally got over the third quarter, whatever the hell, the third quarter lulls is what I call them. But we finally got over those things. But we have to get better at the third quarter, whatever it is. We have to get better. The other thing that has to get better is penalties. We were 94th in penalties this year. We're 88th in red zone offense, and we are 94th in penalties this year. That is unacceptable. That is on the team and the coaching staff. So there's a couple of things that I need Texas to figure out before next year. We're so close to being where we need to be, but if you just look at the things that I just called out, these couple of things are the difference makers. Not being able to kick field goals is a problem. That will cost you a game. Not being able to run the ball effectively, that will cost you in the semifinals because your coach doesn't know what play calls to call. Penalties and starting drives and moving and getting behind the sticks will cost you games. We cannot continue to go into the season and look like that. We have to get better. So there's a couple of things that this Texas Longhorn program has to do better if they are going to win a national championship, because that is the goal. That is the goal now for the University of Texas, is to win a national championship. And I know there's going to be a lot of people that are going to say, yeah, we have Arch now. Now Arch is here. Everything is going to get better. That is not true. Mainly because we are bringing in an entirely new offense. We are bringing in an entire new offense for this 2025 season. So everything that you saw last year, a lot of those guys are headed to the NFL on offense. So we have to be better. I have watched this Sark offense be better than it was this year. And that is saying a lot. And that lets me know that we are regressing in a lot of ways when it comes to offense. And that is unacceptable. So I need Sark to figure it out. I need us to play complementary football. I need these things to make sense. I don't need our offense to stall, and I don't need our kicker to continue to miss field goals. So I'm tired of the penalties. I'm tired of the false starts, but I think the false start problem has gone onto the NFL, at least let's hope. Tired of the penalties, tired of the red zone offense, tired of these offensive linemen not being able to run block, tired of the play calling. Again, all of this is on Coach Sark. He knows what he needs to do. He knows what he's not good at. The same way that I can look at the stats is the same way Coach Sark can look at the stats. I'm not saying anything that's new here. I'm not saying anything that's innovative. I'm not even saying anything that's probably going to surprise you if you've watched Texas play any more than 2 or 3 games. You've seen it yourself. There's a couple of areas where we need to get better, because the things about winning a championship are these little bitty things. These little things are going to cost you. Do I think Texas has the talent, the coaching staff, and all of the things that they need to win a championship? Absolutely. But you can't win a championship when your red zone offense is bad. You can't win a championship when your penalties are bad. You can't win a championship when you can't run the football. All of these things are going to cost you because they mean that you cannot control the clock. And if you cannot control the clock, it's going to be very hard for you to win close football games. We've seen it. We saw it against Georgia. We saw it against Ohio State. So I'm just going to leave that where it's at, and I'm going to stop ranting. So these are the things that I think Sark needs to work on and fix in the offseason. Some of you will say, you know who Sark is? You know who Sark is? Cool. It's no longer acceptable. Sark has to get better. If you want Arch Manning to get better, if you want Ryan Wingo to get better, if you want Colin Simmons to get better, if you want all of the players to get better, and if you want the players to be able to adjust, and you want the players to do better, I have to also hold the coaches to the standard. The coaches also have to get better. It's not just about the players. The coaches own this as well. So I am going to look forward to next season when this offense and Coach Sark looks better, because there's some things that I started to notice this year. To be honest, I noticed them last year and then they reared their ugly heads this year. And so I'm just going to hope that Coach Sark gets it together and gets better, and Texas gets on track next year and we're better, because yes, we do have Arch Manning. None of this is about Arch Manning. All of this is about Coach Sark. So I will end this video here. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. As always, hook 'em.